Hi. So I was reading today in Matthew 13, and he's asked by the disciples, "Why do you speak in parables?" And I can't help but think back to like John 3, when Jesus is talking to Nicodemus, and Nicodemus is like, he's not getting it. And Jesus says, if you, a teacher of Israel, are not able to understand when I tell you earthly things, how can you possibly comprehend if I tell you heavenly things? And as I'm reading that, I've always thought, as I'm reading that chapter, every single time, I'm like, well, it's a good question, Jesus, but you haven't exactly been clear and to the point. I'm not even sure what you're saying. And Nicodemus was the teacher of Israel, or a teacher of Israel. So his disciples are yet again, I anticipate this feeling of frustration. It's like, another parable, great, and this one about seeds and weeds, and they say, okay, why? And he basically says, so that hearing they won't hear, and seeing they won't see, perceiving they won't understand. And so, in other words, I talk in parables and riddles and don't say anything plainly because I don't want anyone to understand me. Okay. But he goes on and he says, but to you it is given to know. And so there's this sense in which God doesn't, and really, it really helped me in reading the Bible. I would get so frustrated when I read the Bible. It really helped me to just think, okay, it's all a parable. It's all one giant riddle. And even the parts that seem like, oh, that seems simple and plain and express, like, it's saying this, it's clear, English, grammar, like I don't need to know a bunch of stuff or be super smart. It seems pretty straightforward. Even those places, it's a riddle, it's a parable. There's something hidden there. And why? So that no one, in our word, we hear like phrases like knowledge is power. The truth will set you free. There's this sense we often try to take the words or facts or knowledge or details. We want to know stuff. We want to figure things out because we think by these things we gain control over something. And God is never going to let us have control over him. Well, that's impossible anyway. So he speaks in a riddle. He speaks in a parable so that even when we hear his words, even when we know his name, even when we study, if we're not doing it in relationship with him, if it's not done out of love, we'll get it nowhere. We'll never have, various fiction writers have played with the idea of a word of power, a word that could destroy worlds when spoken. C.S. Lewis in the Chronicles of Narnia, the first one, The Magician's Nephew, that idea comes up, and it's in other writers as well, and it's, God's words are the words that created the universe. There's power there. And so if we could understand them apart from a relationship with God, that could be disastrous. That would be almost like having access to the tree of life after having sinned and eaten from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So he purposefully speaks so that we don't understand. Unless we're first connected with his heart, unless we're first in relationship with him, unless we first have humbled ourselves to surrender to him and to seek his ways sincerely and with meekness, then he can trust us with the understanding of what he means. And so, and it's always something that's just given. It's just given to the one who's humble enough to receive it. When we come trying to figure it out, thinking we're smart, thinking we got it, thinking we can understand, think we can conquer it, thinking we can wrestle the truth from him or from his words. It's a gift. And all of that pride is just a big fat rejection. Nope, no gifts. No gifts for me. I'll figure it out on my own. I don't need your help. But when we stop and we're like, well, this doesn't make any sense. Help. That's when we can receive a gift. And so all of it, even Bible study, is just about relationship. If you don't have that first, you're wasting your time. Anyway, thanks.